Anne today is a well and happy little girl. Like all young children, she's gaining strength and control of her movements by playing with her toys. She enjoys all her games and reflects in her happiness the security and love she receives from her understanding family. Her parents have been receiving guidance in early treatment ever since Anne was 5 months old. At that time, even basic developmental positions like lying on her tummy caused Anne real discomfort. So her parents were first shown how she could be helped to tolerate this position as a step in the advance towards free movement by Anne herself. Now, 17 months later, she's made such good progress in free movement that her awakening interest in exploring and working with her toys can be used to assist her physical development. She cannot walk or even crawl yet, so all her play and learning activities must be within her reach and her physical abilities. Her playthings have been scattered round the room by the family, so that she must roll and circle and creep to reach them. Her family's attitudes and their encouragement are making her a determined little girl. She will always have to persevere and work hard to achieve physical skills which come naturally to most children. Everyone in her family is careful not to discourage this spark of independence by showing too much sympathy and pity. Before Anne could move freely, she spent most of her time lying on her side. This was important because in this position she could overcome the useless and frustrating involuntary movement she had earlier. Helping Anne to choose positions in which she can move easily is part of the planned treatment program. It was a real milestone when she could lie comfortably on her tummy. This was gained by gentle perseverance and much help and encouragement from the whole family. Although she is 22 months old, Anne cannot yet sit alone. So her mother puts her gently and quietly into her chair and buckles the groin straps which prevent her slipping. This chair is designed to fit Anne so that she feels a correct postural position and at the same time has no fear of falling. With less support and her legs out fairly straight, this floor seat made by her father helps her to gain trunk and head control while using her arms. Anne has done well in the past 17 months. At 5 months, she had never held her own rattle, shaken it, or put it to her mouth, as children normally do at that age. For all her first experience of play, she was dependent on the guiding hands of her parents. Early treatment protected her from the frustration of failure and kept her interest and determination alive through the slow development of the movement areas of her brain. As her own abilities increased, so the pattern of her treatment changed. As an infant, she needed a great deal of direct help, but today, at 22 months, she has only to be given the right opportunities to practice and perfect her own developing skills. She still needs groin straps for security, but well-chosen games interest her so much that she makes extra efforts to control her movements. Here she reaches and grasps and passes from hand to hand a wide variety of odds and ends with different weights, feels and shapes. Slowly, her coordination is improving. So this selected play material and the variety of positions she is put into are another part of her planned treatment program. Brother John and Mother together help Anne to the next stage of learning to sit alone. Whenever anyone handles Anne, they are careful not to stimulate her startle reflex or to hurry her when she is adjusting to positions and for balance. And there is always time for Anne to talk and be talked to. This also is an important part of her treatment plan. She is still so unsteady that after gentle placing on her soft, rubber-lined mat, she must keep both hands on the mat for support. As this presents no opportunity for play, John tells her a story. In these activities, the family has been guided all the time by the visiting cerebral palsy therapist. Now she demonstrates how Anne can be helped to the next stage of her balance control. A cushion is giving Anne a little more support as she lifts one hand to point to the pictures she recognizes. This new activity will be carried on by Anne's family in their day-to-day games with her. They've learned how to adapt everyday playthings so that treatment goes hand in hand with enjoyment of the game and fits in with their daily routine. Riding the rocking horse with a saddle made from an old pram seat is another safe way of improving Anne's trunk control. But to Anne herself, this is just good fun. For her main meals, Anne still sits on her mother's lap, with her hips well flexed and trunk kept forward. If she is sitting in her own chair, she still cannot control her movements for spoon feeding. Her mother knows that Anne will only be able to chew properly if her head and shoulders are well forward. For drinking, a tumbler is best. This discourages her sucking reflex. been trained to drink in this way since her treatment began. Already, Anne is able to hold her own rusk for feeding herself. This is the beginning of the later skills of holding her own cup, spoon, knife and fork. When she was younger, Anne had very few movements in her face. Now, through biting and chewing firm foods, she's preparing her lips and tongue for the complex, quick movements of speech. At this visit, the cerebral palsy therapist considers that Anne will benefit by feeling her feet for the first time. She is held at the hips and encouraged to move loosely. Wide as a gate, thin as a pin. Now, where are your shoes? Good girl. Anne's family are naturally anxious to know when she will walk. But not only do they trust the medical guidance they are receiving, they know themselves that Anne is not yet ready, and that all children, before they walk, must be able to sit alone, to crawl, and to pull themselves up on their feet. Helping children with cerebral palsy takes tremendous patience, as each new skill they learn must be built on firm foundations of well-practiced earlier skills. Getting ready for an outing to the shops takes only a few minutes. Anne's mother has made padded protectors and groin straps to give her small daughter a feeling of comfort and security in her pushchair. The groin straps and head protectors are made with the same coloured canvas as the chair, so that Anne will not be noticeably different from other children when she goes out for her walks. Whenever the weather permits, all the children are out in the fresh air. Play outside on sunny days or walks on cooler days must be planned if one of the family is not yet able to walk by herself. The world the children see and the community they live in are all full of learning experiences. This afternoon, though, the children are not so much concerned with thoughts of education or of beauty. What they really came out for was ice cream. At home again, afternoon tea with their grandparents is a special treat for the children. Everyone in this family knows very well that Anne must not be spoilt. Her brothers are just as important as she is, So the family keeps an even balance between the interests of the boys and Anne's special needs. Every evening, Peter and John rush out to meet their father when he comes home from work. They tell him all about their day and look forward to a game with him before dark. Then it's Anne's turn, and she has chosen one of her favourite playthings, a swing in the doorway at the centre of her home and family circle. These parents are sharing both the pleasures and responsibilities of bringing up their 3 children and are giving their handicapped daughter Anne all the special help, security and affection she needs now so that she may have a full and happy life in the future.